to Bloomers in the Garden. I'm Len Schroeder.
And I'm Julio Zamora.
First up on today's show, a listener from Morristown, New Jersey. Morristown, not Moorestown. Morristown, New Jersey, called the Bloomers in the Garden hotline and asked about her Crape Myrtle. Hear all about it in our first segment.
Pat from Linden, New Jersey, texted the Bloomers in the Garden hotline and had several questions. First up is how to prune a big old lilac. Listen to our advice during our second segment.
Pat also asked how to cut back asters and Montauk daisies, also Nippon daisies, and how to care for them during the growing season. Listen in, third segment.
We received a text to the Bloomers in the Garden hotline and were asked where to find vegetable seedlings for fall harvesting. Find out where the seedlings are in our fourth segment.
The best time to plant onion sets is in the fall. Hear why during our final segment.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back in the garden right after these messages. Bloomers in the Garden is brought to you each week by Bloomers Home and Garden Center. Bloomers is an award-winning garden center just 20 minutes from Philadelphia. Bloomers has been providing expert advice turning brown thumbs green for over 30 years. At Bloomers, we want you to ask us every question, even if you think it's silly. We share information in a friendly, non-judgmental way that is meant to teach and spread the joy of gardening. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center in Washington Township, Gloucester County. For directions, go to bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden.
Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden.
Fertilome's Triple Action contains 70% neem oil and 0.25% pyrethrins as a concentrate and ready to spray. It is an insecticide, fungicide, and miticide labeled to use on vegetables, fruits, nuts, herbs, spices, and ornamentals. This organic OMRI-listed product controls a wide variety of insect pests and diseases, including aphids, scale, spider mites, whiteflies, rust, leaf spot, and powdery mildew. This insecticide is an all-in-one bottle that will cure just about any problem you may run into throughout the year. Fertilome's Triple Action has been helping gardeners across the country for years. Best to apply in late evening and early morning hours. Mix 1 ounce, which is equivalent to 2 tablespoons in a gallon of water. The best part is Triple Action may be used up to the day of harvest. So the next time you are visiting your favorite garden center, ask for Fertilome's Triple Action and expect to have the best-looking plants in the neighborhood.
You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or see and hear us by subscribing to Bloomers YouTube channel. Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley every Saturday. First, wake up with us at 6 a.m. on WNWR The Word at 95.3 FM and 1540 AM. Tune in at 8 a.m. to Bloomers in the Garden Radio on Talk 860 WWDB. A rebroadcast of Bloomers in the Garden Radio is played each Saturday evening at 5 p.m. on The Word 95.3 FM and 1540 AM. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard throughout the New York Tri-State Area on Classic Oldies 1250 AM WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden.
Here.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. I'm Len. He's Julio. That's Aaron. And there's Sam behind the glass. Hey, we got a call from Morristown, and I'm being very specific. Not Morristown in South Jersey, Morristown up in North Jersey. They have a 3-year-old Crape Myrtle that hasn't bloomed. Here, listen to the call.
Hi, I wonder if you can help me out. I have a Crape Myrtle that is about 4 or 5 years old. It's about 4 feet high, and it hasn't bloomed ever. And I was wondering, if you have any input when it should be maturing to bloom, or if you have any specific advice. I've been giving it Miracle Grow once in a while, and I've been tending to the weeds and watering it and so forth. There's little red leaves on the ends of the branches. I don't know if that's the beginning of blooms or, any advice you can give me.
Now here's why I made a distinction. North Jersey's cold. They're colder than South Jersey.
Yeah.
That it can be zone 5, and that's right on the edge of the hardiness zone of Crape Myrtles. Now, they have made new varieties that can take it a little more cold. Just want to see and maybe ask the caller, did you ever have it freeze down to the ground and where it's only 3 foot tall, but it's been several years old? It could be a dwarf variety, okay, that's causing that. And that it could be that it froze down to the root zone and that it's pushing up new roots. I mean, that happens here in South Jersey too.
Yeah.
So just saying that North Jersey is, again, like Southern Magnolias and some of the other varieties that we've adopted from down south that are now being grown in this area and up farther north. Yeah, it could be that. And I'm just saying, just want to bring that to everybody's attention that sometimes you want to make sure that you're getting the correct hardiness zone for your area. So make sure you're checking those tags. All right. So let's say it's not a problem with a hard freeze during the winter. And so what's going on? She's never had blooms.
No, never.
Where's it planted, Julio? In the sun, shade? What do you think?
Yeah, she told me she has in the sun.
In the sun. Yeah. Perfect. Mm-hmm. And it's 3 foot.
3 foot.
And how long has she had it?
3 to 4 years.
Yeah, this should be bigger than that, unless it's one of the new dwarf varieties.
Yeah, it could be.
There's a few different varieties that are dwarf. Mm-hmm. Could be,
yeah.
But don't prune it now. The thing that may be happening is that they're pruning it, in the summer or in the spring that are cutting off flowers.
That's what I think happened.
Yeah, and that she said she had red leaves. That's nothing.
No.
That maybe new growth, which tells me that she cut it back. And so here's our diagnosis from the doctor's consult. Mm-hmm. Leave it alone. Okay. If you're going to cut it back in late winter. So Crape Myrtles, I don't care where you are, that they want to be cut back for winter pruning. And it's that really February, March period because they bloom on their
new wood.
New wood,
yes.
Not their old wood.
Yeah.
All right. And here we go. We're going to review, class. Old wood is the type of growth that occurs from the previous year. Mm-hmm. New wood is what happens in the new growth in the spring and summer. So they bloom on new wood. Azaleas bloom on old wood. So again, it's something that you want to leave alone, and there's a few plants that are like this, quite a few actually. Yeah. And that, again, trim it back, and it doesn't sound like it's too big.
Yeah, small.
No, did she say shrub-like or anything else when you talked with her?
No, she didn't say anything about it.
She didn't say anything about that, whether it was a shrub, but 3 foot tall is not very big.
No, it isn't.
Well,
tiny.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm leaning towards it's a dwarf variety.
Yeah, probably a shrub.
What to do, get your winter coat out in February, March, put it on, bring your pruners out there, get a little bit of exercise, cut that thing back probably about, 6 to 8 inches, maybe as much as a foot. And trim it all around because, again, it sounds shrub-like it's one of the shrub-type varieties, one of the dwarf varieties. If you have to reduce any crossing branches, that's the time to get rid of them, because as the wind blows, that those branches rub together and they can scar and reduce the cambium that's on the trunk of the plant. So you don't want that to happen. You also want good air circulation. What else did you talk about? She said she's feeding it Miracle Grow.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah. Miracle Grow, any water-soluble fertilizer is only going to be available for a short time, 2-3 weeks, something like that, and then you got to redo it.
Yeah, fast acting.
And that where Miracle Grow is great for pushing out growth, and it's old school, but you should be think long range. So right now we're going to talk about, I think it's in this show, about feeding your shrubs in the fall. Use just straight out. Use a Spoma Hollytone. Use a Spoma Hollytone for your shrubs and your Crape Myrtles. They're not as specific as far as pH goes, so you could use that, or you could use Plant Tone, and that it'll help the root system to grow, and that it'll prepare it for spring. And then therefore, you're going to do another application in spring. So you're going to do it twice, once in the spring and once in the fall. And this way, it's going to be once in the fall, once in the spring. But you know what I mean. Anyway, again, that sometimes like we had somebody bring in something, we always get little baggies brought into the store. What is it? What's happening? And that plants are getting seed pods now. This was actually a redbud. And redbud had shown seed pods, and that on a Crape Myrtle, you get those little round things. They look like chickpeas on the end of the branches. That those are just seed pods. Just leave them go, and that you'll cut them back in that winter pruning.
February, March.
That's right. So don't be afraid. Don't fear.
This year's.
That's right, because that will help your plant, and you'll have more blooms, and it just is healthier for the plant, but also make sure you're feeding it. Feed it. Not Miracle Grow.
Yeah.
Not Miracle Grow. Something that is an herbaceous plant, okay? Something that is like your annuals and your perennials and things like that. I'd suggest Miracle Grow. There's something called Mira Acid, or an acid-based, and that's basically saying the pH is more acidic, that you may be better off using that. But quite frankly, I would use the Espoma, Plant Tone, or Hollytone. They're not sensitive to pH swings that would occur. So what I would do is get a 25-pound bag or a 20-pound bag of Hollytone and do every one of your shrubs in your landscape.
It's a slow release, so it's not that quick.
All organic, safe for people, pets, and the planet. I've heard that commercial. In any case, but that's the best fertilizer that we sell. Certainly for shrubs and such. All right. Anything else, Julio, that we need to add?
No, she's doing everything else all right. Watering it properly. And
is it in the landscape, or is it kind of like set out to be a tree?
she didn't tell me.
Yeah.
She didn't tell me.
Up in that area where it's cold, because again, you need to maybe protect it a little bit. It's too late. It's already installed. But if you're in that area, you're up northern New Jersey, you're up in Connecticut, and some of the Zone 5 areas of our listening area, that you want to put things in a protected area. We talk about camellias all the time. It's the same type of thing where you want like a little bit of a windbreak, something to protect it against winter wind, because winter winds will wreak havoc on all those southern transplants, if you will. What's the opposite of a snowbird? Anyway, just try to maybe, if you're going to plant something new like a Crape Myrtle or especially a camellia, you want to make sure that you give it a little bit of protection from winter wind. You can't put it right out on the corner of your lot where it's in the middle, right next to the street. It'll die.
Yeah. No
so just going to happen. Just going to happen. All right. We're going to be right back in the garden right after these messages. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden.
Are you looking forward to a spring of vibrancy while using the best organically approved growing media for your annuals and vegetables? Coast of Maine's Sprout Island Organic Seed Starter has been created to set a diverse culture ideal for germinating seeds and root cuttings. Created using the best ancient composting techniques and new age mixing devices, Sprout Island Organic Seed Starter gently combines kelp meal, worm castings, mycorrhiza, perlite, and sustainably harvested peat moss, establishing the most desirable setting to enhance new plant growth. Coast of Maine's Sprout Island Organic Seed Starter is available at these local retailers, or visit www.coastofmaine.com to locate one near you.
Barlow's, Seagirt, New Jersey. Espenshades Garden Centers and Greenhouse, Montauk, Pennsylvania. Ashcomb's Farm and Greenhouse, Mechanicsburg, PA.
James, won't you turn that old iPad off and come on over here and listen to the radio with Pop-Pop? I'm sure we can find something to listen to.
Okay.
Let me see here.
It's going to be another scorcher out here today. It's those doggone days of summer with temperatures topping out in the high 90s.
God dog it, made me drop my doggone coffee.
Pop, what's a dog day?
Well, James, it's funny that you asked that question because every dog has its day. And the dog days of summer is a magical time at Bloomer's Home and Garden Center, where they've got the nerve, the unmitigated gall. You'll learn about those words a little bit later on, to slash prices all over the place. I'm talking crazy numbers here. $50 off all Ludgood Japanese maple trees. 50% off all shade trees, camellias and oak leaf hydrangeas. Even all their fruit trees are 50% off. That's not all their nursery has to offer. 75% off French lilac hybrids. 75% off snow sprite cedar, tricolor willow, and hinoki cypress. Meet petite knockout roses for $15.99 each or 2 for $25. To wrap up the dog days of summer with these pawsome blowout deals. You see what I did there?
I guess that Bloomers, Pop, you're barking up the right tree.
You've been hanging around your pawpaw for too long. You're starting to sound just like me. I see what you did there, young man.
For more information, check out bloomers.com. You've got to see this place.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. We received another question on the Bloomers in the Garden hotline about pruning. Pat from Linden, New Jersey, that is, has an old lilac that needs some major pruning.
She does. She sent some pictures along, too.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
How big? 8? That
thing
that's maybe even 10 feet
foot,
tall.
Yeah, I would think so.
That is an old, like you said in the intro, that's an old lilac. Big old lilac.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. It is naturally you want to prune lilacs, and this goes with almost everything right after they bloom.
Yep.
Right after they bloom, you want to do pruning, and even the lilacs that you have that are not big, monstrous plants, like the one
like she showed us.
Where the problem is it just looks old.
Oh, it does.
And that you can't even see the flowers because they're so far up in the top. Did she say it flowered much?
No, it didn't flower much.
No. So here's what you have to do.
Yeah.
You really have to do restorative pruning, and that there's 2 ways to do it. You can do a drastic pruning, right? So if it needs to be cut back, you still need to do it. And again, we're talking about May, June. Cut it. You can cut it back hard, but you're going to wait several years, 3 mostly, for it to start blooming again, and because it has to. First of all, lilacs bloom on their old
wood,
right? Remember from the first segment? Right. Old wood is the growth that they had from the previous year, and that's where the buds form and they flower, not their new growth. And see, like there's a rule breaker for everything. Like the variety that's the proven winner, the new proven winner variety. What's the name of that one, Julio? Come on, help me. Help me. Boomerang.
Boomerang, yeah.
Boomerang is supposed to be a reblooming hydrangea.
Lilac.
See, it started with the darn hydrangeas.
I know it did.
So a reblooming lilac.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I mean, they came out with it twice, and the second variety is much better than the first introduction that they had. So they reintroduced it. That being said, that's the only one that I know of that's a standard lilac. And we're not talking about the shrub varieties that are Korean lilacs, like some called Miss Kim. We're talking about like the lilac that grow to be like a shrubby tree.
Yeah, like 10 foot.
Yeah. 10 foot with leaves at the top and multi-branched. Yeah.
That's the one.
And it's the one that you think of. It's the romantic lilac that has a great fragrance.
Great smell.
Mm-hmm. Mm. So if you want to do it all at once, you're going to do it May, June. And that what you're hoping for is that you're going to cut it back and it's going to look like you killed it because there's not going to be anything left. And you're going to do drastic pruning as much as half its size. And it's going to have to grow out of that severe prune. You're going to have to use not only pruning shears, but you may have to use loppers. Loppers are those things with the long handles and and you want to use a type, not an anvil type. An anvil type of pruner or lopper is the kind where it basically has a stable base, and then the blade pushes against that base and crushes it as it cuts it. I never want to use those. I want something that is always like a scissor cut, and that will give it a clean cut, and that way it's better for the plant. It doesn't matter what plant it is. It could be an annual or it could be a tree like this lilac. Possibly a folding saw.
Yeah, that would work.
You might need to use that. But again, if you're going to do it drastic that first time, you're just going to take it all and cut it in half. You may have some issues with it struggling to come back. It will, but you have to be patient. It may take 3 years for it to come back and start blooming again. So just keep that in mind. Just remember, you didn't kill it. Yep. You did set it back, but it's going to be a better plant because of that. Now, there's another way. If you do the same type of pruning, and instead of cutting it in half all at once, that you'll take a third 1 year, a third the next year, and a third the next year, it's still going to take that 3 years, but it's not going to be as drastic a hit to the plant. And again, you're preparing it for its new life as a better plant. And again, we did this. My son's house, Carl, he had a lilac that was like this. Like no leaves, and like it didn't have leaves until over 8 feet. And the leaves that it had were really not very nice. We cut it down hard, real hard. And it started flushing out new growth, but no flowers. I mean, it's gonna be hurt, and it has to get more growth, fill in a little bit, and then what'll happen is on that old wood, eventually buds will form, but it could take up to 3 years. So keep in mind, we're in this. So many people don't realize we're in this for the long haul.
Yeah,
a landscape is not like one and done. There it is. Yeah. It's continual maintenance. You need to tickle plants here. You need to do some pruning here and there. So it's
things
not
get old. Yeah.
Right. I mean, you do a lot of maintenance at home. I know you do.
Oh yeah, I do. Now let me ask you something.
Yep.
Is it you're talking about that third 1 year, third another year,
right?
Third another year,
right? To get to that half size.
Do you recommend either or? Is that something that
knowing that people eat a lot of fast food, they want quick results,
right?
That doing the half one that probably would be what people want to do.
Right.
I would probably recommend doing a third, just simply because it's better for the plant, puts less stress on the plant.
Gotcha.
But
makes sense.
Both work. Both work. And again, it's a hard prune. There's no doubt about it.
Oh yeah, and that's what she did. She did the hard prune.
Didn't look like it.
Well, she told me she cut in half.
When?
Huh?
It's 8 foot tall.
I know.
What, 1964? I mean,
No,
what did she do?
No, remember she sent second pictures. You didn't see them, did you?
No, I didn't see. I only saw the old picture.
Oh, well, yeah. She sent new ones. She cut it in half.
She did.
Yeah.
All right. So she did it.
Yeah, she did it.
Did she say when?
No. Oh, yeah, she just did it. I mean, she just did it.
Okay.
Oh.
See, what happens is when you prune at the wrong time of the year, sometimes what happens, it forces new growth out, and that growth is soft, which means that it's subject to a freeze that damages the actual plant itself, where it doesn't give the plant a chance to harden off. That's why you don't do it in the fall, for one. You've seen it. We've had people bring in samples where they have, like, you can tell that they just pruned it and that it's got a little bit of new growth. Yeah. And then as soon as we get our first frost, all that stuff is dead. It's all brown. It's dead. And it's not just the leaves are dead, but the actual tissue going right back to the trunk of the plant is dead. So I hope that it'll be okay. I mean, it's still, we're talking the end of September. So, I mean, it's going to have some time to grow out. Hopefully it can harden off before any of that happens. But that's, again, why you do it right after it blooms. And just rule of thumb is if you're not sure when to prune your plant, your flowering plant, you do it right after it blooms. And I don't care if it's an azalea or if it's a hydrangea. Whatever. Just do it then.
Yeah.
All right?
It's simple.
Yep. But doing it, like Julio was saying, doing it in a third method will make the plant, give it a chance to, goes down a third, and then it will grow a little bit, and then you cut it down, another third to that point you're trying to get to. How tall was it after she cut it, by the way?
I couldn't tell. The picture couldn't.
Well, it wasn't 8 foot anymore.
No, it wasn't.
So it was at least
down.
4.
At least 4, yeah.
It'll be all right.
Yeah.
It'll be all right. It'll be all right. It just, again, just keep an eye on it and don't expect blooms next year. You won't get them. Probably not even the following year. It's going to take 2 to 3 years for it to grow out, but that's okay because that plant's been there a long time.
Oh my gosh.
Somebody enjoyed those plants when it was like 4 foot tall because they certainly weren't put in at 8 foot.
Well, when she gets the flowers, at least it'll be low.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And they make a great cutting flower.
Yes, they do. Oh, wow. Look at that.
Anyway.
Way to go, Pat.
Patience. Patience. That's like I said, we're in this for the long view.
That's right. All the way.
All right. We'll be back in the garden right after this.
Are you looking to reach an audience of over 12 million residents in the Philadelphia, Delaware Valley, and New York City Tri-State? Then consider becoming a broadcast sponsorship partner for Bloomers in the Garden. Every week on Bloomers in the Garden Radio, your products become associated with the authority in everything lawn, landscape, and garden. For more information on the Bloomers in the Garden Partnership Program, feel free to call the hotline 609-685-1880 or check out the radio tab at bloomers.com.
Dreaming of a gorgeous garden? Give your azaleas, rhododendron, blueberries, and evergreens a powerful boost with the #1 acid-loving plant food, Espoma Organic Hollytone. Hollytone is a perfect blend of natural, long-lasting ingredients that nourish plants for stronger roots, faster growth, and bountiful blooms. Plus, it's easy to use and safe for people, pets, and planet. Visit espoma.com for a retailer near you and helpful gardening tips. Espoma, a natural in the garden since 1929.
If you're like me, then you absolutely love birds. The Bird Sanctuary at Bloomer's Home and Garden Center has you covered. They're dedicated to the care and feeding of wild birds of all sorts. Want to bring more birds to your yard? Then you got to see this place. Bloomers has a huge flock of feeders, birdhouses, birdseed, and much, much more. Want to feed the birds and not the squirrels? They have this absolutely cool bronze bird feeder that will drive those sneaky squirrels nuts. They'll be moving to the next door neighbor in no time. OMG. Bloomers have these absolutely adorable birdhouses that will turn your yard into the perfect bird B&B. They carry all types of wild bird seed, suet, seed cakes, and mealworms. Bloomer stocks, Lyric, Coles, CNS, Pine Tree Farms, and much, much more that will keep those beautiful birds coming back for more. Bloomer's Home and Garden Center is located in Washington Township in Gloucester County. For more information and directions, check them out on the web at bloomers.com. Bloomer's Home and Garden Center, you got to see this place.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Hey, Pat really got the most out of her experience with us. She asked another great question. Again, she's from Linden,
New Jersey.
New Jersey. You know, Clifton boy.
Yes,
I'm a Clifton boy. I know right where Linden is. Anyway, she asked this question about Montauk daisies.
Hi, this is Pat from Linden, New Jersey. Can you give me some guidance as to pruning Montauk daisies and fall asters? I usually cut them after blooming in the fall. My concern is pruning in spring. Do I treat them the same as the way I do my mom's? Thanks, Pat.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Sort of. So I probably would not prune them back. Pruning them back after they're done and after we've had our first frost. Yes.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes. But let's deal with asters first. Mm-hmm. So when we had Bobby Blue in a couple of weeks ago, and they made it real simple. And they have a guide on their website. If you go to where their FAQ section is of their website on centertonnursery.com, it gives a guide on how to pinch prune your perennials. And this is all it said, and we're going to expand on this. In season, pinch early season for branching, then leave be off season. Shear back, leaving green crown of foliage.
Yeah, right.
Now let's explain what that means. You know, that's like talking to a doctor. You know, it's like you don't understand what I'm telling you.
Oh no, yeah, it's not my lingo.
Anyway, so what you want to do is that, sure, if you want to clean it up after the season, that's fine. But you want to do more of thinning and because the problem with asters is they get powdery mildew. Yeah. They get powdery mildew real easy. And that powdery mildew is not like most people think, that it's an issue with them being dry or wet and with them being too wet. It actually comes onto them when they're more dry, and that they need to be thinned out. And it's all about air circulation. Like so many of the diseases that we get in plants, it's all about air circulation. So pruning back your aster plant, yes, you want that nice pretty dome, but you want to thin out some branches, and that's all about powdery mildew. What you're going to do is go down and just open it up a little by cutting down at the base in springtime. So that means when it flushes out, it's about 6 inches tall or so, that's when you're going to go ahead and you're going to pinch some of the inside out so that it has that air circulation, and then you're going to do and shear off some of the top. And you're going to do that about 3 times. And then again, we call it shearing, but it's really the actual horticultural term is pinching. Is pinching. I almost pinched Julio just now. Pinching. And again, it's making sure that you're trying to get the most flowers from one plant. So you're trying to make that dome that you bought. Because often, like if you leave it go, like we talked, she mentioned mums. Yeah. Like if you leave mums go, they turn into this like gangly. You know, it's not very pretty. Yeah, weedy. Yeah. No, Julio said weedy. That's exactly right. Yeah. So again, you're going to start, pinching it. You're going to do it 3 times from the first time that you get about 6 inches of growth. Pinch it back a third. Let it grow to another probably 6 or 8 inches. Pinch back a third of that. And then that final pinch, which would be sometime in July, I wouldn't go past July 15th. And and again, you're thinning it at the same time because there'll be branches that are coming from the center of the plant that may be brown or you can tell that just are struggling. You're going to open it up so that gets air circulation. And so that's the aster. So very similar to mums. And it's all about making sure that it's branched and it has, therefore, more blooms. Pretty easy. Now, Montauk daisies, a lot of people are confused because, they're Shasta daisies. It's like, no, they're Montauk daisies. They look similar. Nippon daisies, they're a type of Nippon daisy. And that where for a strong fall bloom, because that's when they bloom naturally, you're going to prune the plants to about 6 inches tall in early spring because they can take a pretty good amount of cold. So whatever's left from the fall growth cycle, take it back to about 6 inches. And then you're going to do that again. And keep it on the same schedule. Just do it twice for these, for the Montauk daisies, and do it again in July. And that usually the July 15th would be the latest.
Last time.
Yeah. And that you're going to have a really nice full plant rather than, again, they can get a little bit out of control.
Yeah, they can.
If you want to split your plants, you do it probably every 3 years is best. So just make sure that they don't get too gangly. Again, they're going to flower for a long time. They may lose their foliage after a frost or a hard freeze. That usually takes them out, but we're talking that's going to be November, but in this area anyway. So they're great perennial Montauk daisies, Montauk, Long Island.
Long Island,
yeah, Montauk, Long Island. So, and it just will create a mound of 3 foot across.
Yeah,
they get big.
Yeah, these
so
guys are
keep
big.
that in mind.
Yeah.
So if it looks like that they're getting out of control, well, guess what? They might be. So it might be time to split them in the spring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're watch your space on them.
Yeah. I know there's a business by us where they have a low billboard on the ground, and they have Montauk daisies across the front of it. Yeah, we planted them. We planted. They wanted the landscape to look good in fall, and so we planted it.
Nice. And
they kept them there. And man, they are gigantic.
Yeah, they're big.
Let's just say they're not doing any of this. No. They should be.
No,
they should be because it would look great.
Yeah,
they're a little bit gangly. So anyway.
Oh,
they're right next to you. They're in Glassboro.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have to go by there.
Yeah. So anyway.
What's going on? You tell them to cut it
You'll
back.
see it's right on Delsey Drive.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
I know you're right.
In any case, make sure you do cut them back because it will help them look great in the fall. If you don't, it's going to be like,
yeah.
Maybe I should put them in the ugly section by the mums.
With the mums.
But they will they will respond to pruning, okay? Yeah. And again, you don't want to do it anytime after the 15th of July or else you'll be delaying that flower formation. So, all right.
Wow.
Any questions, Julio?
No.
No? Any comments?
No.
No?
No. We did.
Nailed it?
Nailed it.
Nailed it. All right. We'll be back right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix with EcoPeat is the perfect ready-to-use potting mix for all your succulents. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix is a blend of sphagnum peat moss, perlite, and EcoPeat. EcoPeat is a natural wood fiber from peat bogs. When added to Fertilome peat moss, it produces a superior professional substrate with an exceptional ratio of air porosity and water holding capacity. Fertilome succulent potting mix will ensure maximum drainage with ideal water retention. It's simply the best succulent mix on the market. Ask for Fertilome by name at your local garden center. Available at Daniel's Garden Center, Sumneytown Pike, Harleysville, Pennsylvania. Gasper's Home and Garden, 316 Tanyard Road, Richboro, PA. Your next houseplant is waiting for you in Bloomer's Home and Garden Center's greenhouse. Bloomers recognizes that houseplant choices are as important to your interior decorating as the fabric on your couch. The right plant, paired with the perfect container, can bring a dynamic change to your home. A houseplant brings life to your world and connects your home's interior to the greater outdoors. Even a small succulent placed on your coffee table has a way of connecting your living room to the Amazon rainforest. How about an air plant in your kitchen? Looking for an indoor flowering plant to add color to your plant palette? Bloomers has a large revolving assortment of flowering beauties. From aglaonemas to ZZ plants, Bloomers Greenhouse is stocked with your next favorite indoor plant. Bloomers carries a large selection of pottery and containers to match your home's decor and make any of your plants more beautiful. Bloomers experts can help you care for your plants and have the fertilizer, insecticides, leaf shine, and specialty soils you need to grow healthy and happy indoor plants. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center's greenhouse and make every room in your home a living room. Visit bloomers.com for more information. That's bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Fall is for planting in the vegetable garden, folks. Yes, it is. Like this listener who texted the hotline asking where to find seedlings.
Where can I purchase lettuce starter plants to put in my garden for a fall harvest? I'm in the Bristol, Pennsylvania area. And P.S. Love your show, Bloomers in the Garden.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Hey,
much.
let's talk about ourselves.
Yeah.
No, I went and I looked and I called actually R&R Produce. They are actually a produce place in Bristol. Ray said no, they don't have starter plants, but take the ride and join us on this side of the river.
There you go.
About 20 minutes from you is Flags Garden Center, Flaggs, and that they are on Bridgeboro Road in Moorestown. Only 20 minutes from Bristol, and it's worth the toll to come over to the bridge. They are a great garden center. I think they're in their fourth generation. Wow. I've known Rich for, God, has it been 30, 35 years now?
Oh, huh?
Probably.
Wow.
Yeah. We're old.
Yeah, I noticed.
Hey, watch it. Anyway, Flags is a great, it's a family garden center. The family works there. They do landscaping as well. But I called this morning, and I called this number, 856-461-0567, and that's for Flags Garden Center and Landscaping. Wow. And they have starter vegetable plants.
How about that?
I'd say come down to Bloomers, but they are going to actually be a little bit closer than we are. And again, 20 minutes.
He can come down too.
You know, he can, but Flags is a great place. Yeah. Make sure you tell them that we sent you and that we'd appreciate that. Awesome. Again, Flags, you'll find everything. They're and Rich, he's really one of the good guys in the industry. And that again, single unit, family run, multiple generations. Flags is a great place.
Yeah, they'll take care of him.
They absolutely will. Yeah. So again, they'll have, I think, most of the cole crops: kale, cauliflower, collards, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, and like you asked about, lettuce. Oh yeah. So head over to the Jersey side, and you'll be able to find some. Yeah. No, I couldn't find anything in Bristol. No. Nothing reliable. And that if you're a garden center listening to this show in Bristol, let me know. Let me know. But I did a basic search. Yeah. But Flags is where I would go.
Yeah. It's nice of him to text us about that. To find out where.
Yeah, to find out where. We've had that before.
Yeah,
we've had that before. So we know most of the guys.
A lot of those people.
New Jersey, New York, Delaware, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, you got a lot of
connected.
Yeah, you're connected.
Anyway, I hope you have a great garden, and make sure you tell them that Bloomers in the Garden Radio sent you. We'll be right back right after this. Some of our most frequent questions revolve around organic container gardening for houseplants annuals, and of course, vegetables. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend Organic Potting Soil is a lightweight soil mixture made with salmon, blueberry, lobster, and other composts, as well as calcium and chitin-rich lobster shells, sphagnum peat, perlite, and kelp meal. It is a great soil. And Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Organic Potting Soil is rich in organic material, creating lush, disease-resistant plants that require less watering, less feeding. Its rich, dark brown color provides the perfect balance between water retention and drainage needed for healthy plants. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend Organic Potting Soil is available at these local retailers.
Pickering Valley Feed and Farm, Exton, Pennsylvania. Ashcombe Farm and Greenhouses, Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Tony's Farm and Garden, Windsor, New Jersey. Dreaming of a gorgeous garden? Give your azaleas, rhododendron, blueberries, and evergreens a powerful boost with their #1 acid-loving plant food, Espoma Organic Hollytone. Hollytone is a perfect blend of natural, long-lasting ingredients that nourish plants for stronger roots, faster growth, and bountiful blooms. Plus, it's easy to use and safe for people, pets, and planet. Visit espoma.com for a retailer near you and helpful gardening tips. Espoma, a natural in the garden since 1929.
Are you looking to reach an audience of over 12 million residents in the Philadelphia, Delaware Valley, and New York City Tri-State? Then consider becoming a broadcast sponsorship partner for Bloomers in the Garden. Every week on Bloomers in the Garden Radio, your products become associated with the authority in everything lawn, landscape, and garden. For more information on the Bloomers in the Garden Partnership Program, feel free to call the hotline 609-685-1880 or check out the radio tab at bloomers.com.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Hey, Julio. You know, in our last segment, you know, this one just passed, we talked about vegetables and such, but what about onion sets? Onion sets are like, think of them as little baby onions.
Yeah.
Because there are seeds you can buy, but I think onion sets are just do better, quite frankly. You get a bag, usually anywhere from 50 to 100 onion sets in the package. Did you know that onion sets planted in the fall, are actually taste better than they do in the spring?
Spring, yeah.
You knew that?
Not really.
Folks, see what I have to deal with?
I know.
He was faking.
You know, we hear a lot about that for other crops too.
Oh yeah,
You know?
garlic, which is like onions.
That's right.
And again, it takes about 14 weeks for onions to become big enough. But because you're planting them in the fall, you're really not going to harvest them until the springtime after they start growing again. It's like, how do you know? When do you harvest your onions? What happens is the tops of the onions begin to dry out and they fall over. You can see that they've reached their maximum size. And that, you want to see that, and you wait for about a week or so for watering. You don't want to water them. And then you pull the onions out, but then you've got to cure them. So you don't, like when you buy onions in the store, they have like the leaves, not leaves, what do you call the stuff that's over the onions?
It's the,
I'm not a
it's
cook.
a dry, it's almost like a dry skin.
Skin.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, Aaron, do you know what it's called?
Not at all.
Sam? Anyone?
I have no idea.
Anyone?
Somebody had to call in on us.
Hey, if you know, skin, I think is probably right.
Yeah.
I used to know this when I sold produce. Yeah, because you have to get it off.
Get it off? Oh.
Not all of it.
Okay.
You'd want to have one layer protecting it.
Okay.
And then it looked
dry.
better. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Anyway, so here's the deal. But making them cure so that they develop that dry outer shell so that they don't rot and they last longer, and that you just want to spread them out, and you can put them in the sun, but you don't want them to get wet all the time. So it might be a better idea to put them in like a protected area, like a shed or a garage, or hey, if you're lucky enough to have a barn, and that. Where it once they get that and the tops all dry out, then you can harvest them. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen red onions where they take the tops And what they'll do, and that these usually come from Italy, where they will braid the tops so that there's all onions that are like
hanging down.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Very cool.
It's very cool.
Very
so,
pretty,
I mean, if you want to get real fancy and you can do that. But again, those tiny little onion sets that you put in now, they're about a 3/4 of an inch. And that you'll end up getting them in the spring. Okay. And that's the thing. Remember, you're not trying to get a fall harvest. You're looking to harvest them in the spring. And again, more flavorful than if you planted them in the spring. And that's because they're just underground a longer time. So you're not forcing them to grow. They'll go dormant. They'll go dormant when things get cold. But when spring arrives and it's a little warmer temperature, soil warms up, they'll resume growing again. And then that's where they'll put on some real growth. They do like it cool.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So when's the best time to harvest them?
In the spring.
Okay.
So you plant now,
right.
and like you can plant garlic now,
right.
And other crops, but you harvest in the spring.
Okay. All right.
So
is there a particular look that you look for when you're really ready to pull them out? Or?
Well, again, you'll see from the tops,
right,
that the tops start yellowing out,
okay,
and that they flop over, and that before like everybody's bought green onions, right? To use, and that where they won't have that look, that will be turning yellow, and that's when you pull them up out of the ground.
Okay. Ironically, that's a song, "Green Onions" by Booker T.
Really?
Yeah, Booker T. And it's an old jazz tune, Green Onions.
Green Onions.
Organ, yeah.
Nice.
I'm going to have to find it.
Yeah.
Think bumper music, Sam.
No problem.
Anyway, so again, plant your onion sets now. It's going to be almost like planting bulbs. Like, again, right. Tulips and hyacinths. That show is coming up.
Oh, right.
In a couple of weeks, we're going to talk about planting your bulbs. Too many times we get people that say, do you have any tulips now? And it's spring, and it's
too late.
It's like, well, guess what? You could have bought a tulip bulb for 50 cents, and now you're buying a pot of 3 tulip bulbs for like $6.
Oh, yeah.
Plant your tulip bulbs in the fall. Mm-hmm. All right, just saying. But that show is coming up in a couple of weeks, all about bulbs. God, I love bulbs.
Oh, yeah.
That's because I'm Dutch.
Yep. That's right.
Hey. All right. Julio, anything to add about onion sets? Have you ever you've planted onions before?
I planted garlic.
Garlic.
Not onions yet.
So it was garlic. Did you plant it in the fall or
in the fall?
Okay.
Yeah, it came out really good.
You said that.
Yeah.
You said that was a couple of years ago, right?
Oh, yeah, a couple of years.
Yeah.
Once we get them, I'm going to put my 50 in.
All right.
We'll be giving them to my neighbors.
Right, and I'll be sharing my whatever breath mint I have with me for you.
Really?
Anyway. All right, but again, plant onion sets now for better flavor. And again, it's not a fall harvest, it's a spring harvest. And that what'll happen is that they'll go dormant during the winter, and then they'll start growing in the spring, and then they'll get to a size. And when you see that the tops start to turn yellow and fall over, let them go dry for about a week or so, then pull them out of the ground. You're going to cure them. They're not ready to go. You want to cure them so they get that shell over top of them, and that protects them, and they'll last for a real long time.
Yeah.
And if you're really fancy, go ahead and try to braid them. That would be that. I mean, it's cool. It's very cool. Cool. So, but then again, or just go ahead and eat them.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. We'll be back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden.
Is she gone?
Nope, she's still standing there.
What is she doing?
I think she's watching the grass grow.
That's our job.
I know, right? She's watching the grass grow, the flowers grow. Ooh, look, the trees are growing.
Can't say as I blame her. Remember where she bought all this stuff?
Duh, bought us there too.
Bloomers Home and Garden Center. Find us online at bloomers.com.
You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or see and hear us by subscribing to Bloomers YouTube channel. Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley every Saturday. First, wake up with us at 6 a.m. on WNWR The Word at 95.3 FM and 1540 AM. Tune in at 8 a.m. to Bloomers in the Garden Radio on Talk 860 WWDB. A rebroadcast of Bloomers in the Garden Radio is played each Saturday evening at 5 p.m. on The Word, 95.3 FM and 1540 AM. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard throughout the New York Tri-State Area on Classic Oldies, 1250 AM WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Me and Julio.
Wow, I'll tell you what.
Lots of pruning questions this week.
A lot of pruning this week, yeah.
Yeah, so be
great.
careful.
Yeah.
Don't prune too, this time of the year. Yeah. We see it all the time. We pick on the poor landscapers that are out there trying billable hours. Here we go.
Share it all down.
Those plants never bloom. So make sure that you arm yourself with a little information and, tell them, don't touch this one and don't touch that one, or else you may have no flowers next year. Yeah. I don't know. Good show.
Good show.
Good show. Vegetables.
Yep.
You still have some time to put your vegetables in, but it's waning. So make sure you get it done. And listen, all of you out there and those listening on our new station, The Word, give us a call and ask us your gardening questions, your plant questions, anything. We want to hear houseplant questions. Right now, houseplants are getting a little weird. You notice that it's a little darker in the mornings?
Yes, it is. A little colder.
A little colder. This morning was 50-something degrees.
Oh, yeah. Ooh,
wow. So the plants are going to be less sunlight, so they're going to get weird. If you've got questions, if your plant's doing something that you're not sure what it is, call the hotline at 609-685-1880. Leave us your question. Tell us what station you listen to, and we'll call you back with the answer.
Mm-hmm. Did you know you can listen to Bloomers in the Garden anytime? Search for us on your favorite podcasting platform or go to bloomers.com and visit the radio tab. Now, when you go to visit your favorite garden center, tell them you listen to Bloomers in the Garden.
Now, make sure that you go to see our beautiful faces on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Give us 5 stars. We'd love that.
Right, yeah.
And then you can see actually some of the plants that we bring into studio. We appreciate it. And thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the garden.
See you in the garden.